fantastic, considering I was racking my brain to try and think of something that would really tax you. And you've done so well, so well. Who are we short of? Oh, Iris isn't on.
No,
Yes,
Iris is on.
Yes, Iris is there.
Oh, there she is.
Brenda.
Hello, Iris.
Hello.
Haven't seen you.
David,
We're missing Brenda.
What about Caroline?
No, Brenda's not well.
I haven't seen Caroline.
No.
No.
Seen Caroline.
Yeah, she's missing. Excuse me.
Don't know why. I don't know if I've got her number. Does anyone have her number?
Yes, I'll give her a ring.
Would you? Okay. Thanks, Max. Thanks very much. Okay. Right. Well done, everyone. To your.
Oh, Caroline's just coming in.
Caroline's
coming in.
Right. How's the audio, please?
Yeah.
Fine.
Here.
Is it
Morning.
good?
Morning, Caroline.
Morning,
Hi, Caroline.
Morning.
Morning, Chris.
I can't see. Oh, there you are, Caroline. Good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, David. I'm fine, thanks.
Super duper, super. Okay. Right. Well, we're nearly all here. It's 10:05. So if I remember how to do this, of sharing the screen somehow, and I need to find where the images are, which were here earlier. Where on earth do I put them? And here we are. Right, so can you see that, folks?
No.
Not yet.
Are you in share? Are you in share mode, David?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know the answer at present. Just bear with me for a moment. Share screen, I want those. How do I do share screen mode? Do you remember?
I can't tell you on the iPad at the top. It says share content. Can you see that?
On my PC, it's on the bottom.
It's on the bottom, I think.
Yeah, got it.
Share screen.
Got it. Right. Can you see that?
No.
No. Not yet.
How about now?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
coming.
Yes. It's starting. Here we go. Now you need to get into the website.
Oh, mine's gone completely off now.
Yeah, mine too.
I've got
Can see David's computer.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's it. Okay, now
Right.
if you hit the current project,
Right.
we'll be in.
We're on oblique. Now, I racked my brain, ladies and gentlemen, to try to think of some way of challenging you with an open-ended challenge that wasn't going to be a discrete. There's no single solution to the challenge. And I have discussed it with some people who've told me how difficult it was, which is great. And you've done so well at finding images that will address this topic. So well done to all of you. And we'll kick off with oblique. And you'll notice, first of all, that Mo has very kindly provided you with a definition of oblique. Now, these definitions are... Sorry, someone's speaking.
Yes, I'm sorry, but I haven't got any picture. I haven't got any. I've just got U3A.
Right.
The word oblique.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Oh, I'm
right.
sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Have you got Mo's
Yes, I've now
definition
got
of
that. Yes.
oblique?
Yes, I'm there. Yes, I'm there.
Right.
Thank you. Sorry.
Okay. So here we have then, I guess this one, 1C, if you can read it on your screen, 1C, having no right angle, an oblique triangle, which is quite a difficult one. And if we move on to the oblique title there, you'll see that we've got something really technical, an oblique asymptote, which is something I wouldn't wish you to bother over. And you can probably happily live without it for the whole of the rest of your lives. But nonetheless, it's a goodie. And we move on then to the next one. Again, something that is oblique. Definition of oblique, something that's oblique. Well, that's about the daft bunch of words, isn't it? At 45 degrees, it's telling us here. Now I'm going to go to Bill. Where's Bill? Are you there, Bill? Speak to
Yes,
me.
I am, yes.
Now, give us the definition of oblique. I want a mathematical one this time.
Well, I always thought oblique meant more than a right angle, quite frankly.
Yep.
But, you know, it's coming in at an angle of, say, I don't know, 130 degrees or something like that.
Yeah, that'll do me. So I really wasn't going to bother you with the fine detail of the mathematical definition of oblique. Nonetheless, anything that's got light coming in from the side, not straight on and not straight from behind. The straight on would be flat lighting, and you wouldn't get the roundness of the face or the object. Anything that's lit from behind, you're just going to get a hairline, you know, a light over the hair, and pretty much a silhouette, neither of which were really what I was trying to get you to do. I was trying to get you to do something with side lighting. Now, I can hear Mags shouting in my ear. She's saying, well, why didn't you say that in the first place?
Yeah, why not?
Yes.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
I say.
Yes.
Trying just to tease you forward, let's say, to tease you forward.
Sadly, the gym was closed, and I couldn't take a picture of the young men without their shirts on to show their oblique muscles.
I don't think they'd have let you take the cameras in there, Mags, anyway.
No, it was closed. It's closed. It's locked down. Wasn't allowed in. So there were no strapping young men to take pictures of.
You should have knocked on my door.
Delusions, David. Delusions.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. All right. Well, nice to see everyone here. We'll go straight on to Bill number 1. Now, quite clearly, he's seen this washing up bowl or frying pan or whatever it is with these bubbles, and I'm struggling to see how the light is coming in from one side until I look over here and I see this shadow. Can you see that shadow? Can you see my pointer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So actually, he's lit this either from a window or an angle poise from the side as best he could, and he's getting these shadows showing that the bubbles are elevated from the level of the washing up liquid. So yeah, that's certainly obliquely lit. Now, what I didn't really understand is the title Baying at the Moon, until I then began to see here some sort of dog or wolf and its eye here, and this bubble being the moon, and the dog is baying at the moon, the wolf is baying at the moon. So well done, Bill.
Actually, I could have entitled it Rorschach test, if you know what I mean.
You could do. Yeah, you better not go too far along that line. Not everyone's going to understand you. But thank you for that. So I'm just going to write bubbles for your first entry. Thank you for that. And we'll move on. What is rather elegantly done here is the fact that the encyclopedia is at an angle from the viewer, and so is the open book with the what does it say? Color reproduction in digital cameras. I thought it was going to be a recipe book when I first saw the bowl of fruits there, but that's obliquely lit from the side. And the great strength of this is that you are seeing the curl of those pages. The pages look as if they're curled, and you're seeing it beautifully shown with the shadow, that shadow on the left-hand side there, which is giving us that feeling of depth. And it is the feeling of depth. So once again, a good side lit image. And we move on to Bill's number 3, which looks pretty close to, well, it says Bill 2 actually, but am I mistaken? Is there another one? But anyway, so he's now opened the book, which was the encyclopedia, which also, by virtue of being lit from one side, is showing us the shape of the leaves of the book. So I liked that very much indeed. Quite clearly, they're photography books. If you look over on the right-hand side, you see here something that's called a gamut. Don't worry about it. It's something that you can happily live without. This is a representation of the colours. Go on, Bill.
You might recognise the book. It's the E.F. Len's book.
Oh, is it? Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right. So I'm going to say, in this case, in my notes, it's 2 books. So Bill's got the Bubbles, Bang at the Moon, the Oblique book, one of which is an encyclopedia, and the 2 books. So if you move on to those, thank you very much for those. Brenda, poor old Brenda's been in trouble with her chest again, and I hope it's not going to be the sign of worse to come over the winter. But she's managed to find something very, very cleverly lit here and very cleverly photographed. Now, who on earth would have thought to take such a photograph of a darts board with the dart in the bullseye, and the dart itself, if you notice, the finger grip is pin sharp, as is this level of the dartboard. But as soon as you get closer to the photographer or further away from the photographer, then it's soft. And that gives us a marvelous feeling of depth in this photo. So well done, Brenda. So I'll pick on someone and ask them what unless somebody wants to volunteer, what were the settings on this camera? I'm thinking of one particular setting, but I'll just say generally settings. So anyone going to volunteer for this one? Tell me what you think about it. Anyone volunteering?
The 2.8 aperture.
2.8, Fred. Yeah. Anything else?
I don't know what speed it might be. The ISO, I would suggest at 100.
Yeah, I think so. Well, the shutter speed wouldn't have been important, would it? So if you're in manual, and I keep mentioning manual to you, I'll probably say it again several times. The one that you want to select is going to be the widest aperture, smallest number, to get most light in and to give you this 3-dimensionality of the background going soft, the point of focus being sharp, and the foreground going soft as well. And do you remember a year or 2 ago we did foreground, midground, and background? That was the topic: foreground, midground, and background, and it's been achieved here. So well done, Brenda. I think that's super, even though she's not here. I'm just going to call that in my notes dart. So well done. Anything else we'd say about that? Well, the shutter speed and the ISO, probably choosing your settings on your camera for your manual. You definitely choose the widest aperture. Thereafter, the lowest ISO will give you least grain, and the shutter speed, well, whatever you can hold. You put it on a tripod, or you put it on a monopod, or if you can hold it. Personally, I find that I'm shooting at least a 250th of a second. Anything slower than that, I need a tripod. But that's just Anno Domini. So well done, Brenda. Good one. Another good one. Moving on. If the machine is working, there we go. A mystery boy. Well, we don't know who it is, whether it's the milkman's boy or the paper boy or Brenda's grandson or who it is. She's dragged this boy in off the streets and taken a photo of him, and she's lit him distinctly from the side. Now, I don't know how big your screens are and whether you can see it, but to me, it's a great pity that it's not sharp. Had some part of this been sharp, I would have been a lot happier. I'm going to guess that the sharpest part, at least on my screen, is his ear, but it's not sharp. It's what some people call on the edge of sharpness, which is a polite way of saying it's not sharp. I would have tried to get his eye sharp and then get some softness as it goes back into the ear. That's actually not the point of the exercise. The point of the exercise is to light the youth from the side and get the shadows showing the roundness of his face. Pretty much as if you look at me on the screen, you'll see the side of my face here is in window light and the side of my face over here is in shadow. So you're seeing a round face. If you look at Bill's face, you'll see that Bill's also in the light from one side. Sit still, Bill. Light from one side here, shadow on the other side. So it's showing a roundness of Bill's face. And that's ideal. Yeah. Well lit from the side. My notes, I'm just going to call that on Brenda's list, boy. Yeah. Pity it's not in focus. And I rather suspect that something went wrong here when she took the photo. Any suspicions of what went wrong? Terry, come on. You're muted, Terry. We can't hear you. You have to unmute yourself.
Sorry, I was just reading Brian's remark, which was oblique can be unclear. So he's making the point that
oh, yeah, okay.
and mystery, as in you can't see. Having said that, I did instantly say, what a shame it's not sharp. But there you go.
I rather suspect that what Brenda has done is to choose too slow a shutter speed. That is to say, she's taken this at 1/10 of a second, and any tiny camera shake, handshake, movement of the camera has resulted in this not sharp image. Nonetheless, I would recommend that Brenda goes and grabs this boy off the street or steals him into her studio again and repeats this, because that's got a lot going for it, that photo. And I love the way she's lit him and the three-dimensionality of the face. So well done, Brenda. And I think you're quite right, Terry. So we move on from Brenda. In my notes, I've said Brenda boy. And wow, look at this. Now, this is one of those images, isn't it, which I will have said before. I don't know if I can enlarge it a bit for you. Is that better for you?
Yeah, well, it's too big now.
It's just brought it all in. Actually, it's just a wee bit too much. It's come out there. Where I will have picked on the leading lines, and the leading lines are really strong lines, aren't they? This line on the left, in the left corner there, and the line on the right, cutting off the right corner. I have no idea at all what it is, or where it's going, or where it's coming from. Is it vertical? Is this a structure going up the side of a building, or is it something laying down? Is it?
I think it's a cattle grid.
Is it? That's
I don't know, but it looks like a cattle grid to me.
Yeah, that's a very, very good suggestion.
I think if it was a cattle grid, you'd have it all the same level, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would, surely.
No, no, you look at the ones at Hadley Country Park, they're definitely different levels.
Yeah.
I could be
You'd
wrong.
normally have the
It's
grill
just-
over the top, though. You wouldn't have it open because the cattle would fall in.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Well, that's the point of it.
That's the point, so they can't walk across
Yeah, I
it.
know, but if they did go forward, they'd fall. Usually on a cattle grid, you've got bars across, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't really matter, because what matters is that it's lit obliquely. And I'll ask you to try and analyze where the light is coming from. Whatever it is, and whatever job it does, where's the light coming from? The clue is, look at the shadows.
Yeah.
So any ideas then? Where's the light coming from? Analyze it.
Almost at right angle.
From above.
From the top.
From above,
Yeah.
it looks.
Yeah, well, if you look at this side of the structure, it's brighter. If you look at that side, if you can see my pointer, it's darker. So to some extent, the light is coming from our right as we look at it. Yeah, Suzanne's waving in that right.
Yeah, top right.
That's right. There is a certain amount of, somebody said the light's coming from on top as we look at it, and I would agree, because the brightness of this side on the left, this bar, and the brightness of the bar on the right are pretty much the same. So what are we saying? The light is coming obliquely from above and to the right. Yeah?
Yes.
Above and to the right. So that's actually quite a challenging photo. Quite challenging. So well done, Brenda. I like that. Pick on something else. The stroke line. Look at that marvelous stroke line. No fuzzy edges, Suzanne. Really nice mid-grey, thin stroke line. Excellent. Excellent, Brenda. So I don't know what I'm going to call that. Somebody said a cattle grid. Well, I think I'll go along with cattle grid, but I have no idea what it is. I think
It's
I think it's a staircase, and
I
it's
think
in
it's an
the style of
escalator.
Escher. Escher did drawings like this.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian. What is it? Speak up.
It's a staircase, and it's in the style of Escher. Escher evolved a style of imagery in his drawings.
Right. Well, if it's a staircase, I can't really.
I don't think it is.
I don't know. Looking over here where Brian's made me look, is that a staircase? Does that look like a staircase? It might be.
They're all the same, aren't they? They're not one different to the other.
Yeah, but anyway, it's oblique lighting, so well done. I'm going to leave it as cattle grid at present. So well done, Brenda. That's 3 really challenging photos. Let's move on to Brian's number 1. Now, that's a little bit off your screen. I'll bring it back on. Hopefully that's all on your screen now. And I don't know what that is. Safe to say, it looks like a block of ice. But then I notice that there's a sailing boat in it. So I guess this is a glass paperweight with the light coming in and showing a translucency and a transparency. They are different. To show up these what do you call it? I nearly said emboss. That's not the right word, is it? The
engraving.
Say, what's the word, Bill?
Well, it could be an engraving, but if
engraved, that's the word I want. Yeah, thank you. Engraved. So I guess they are engraved on the other side of it. But once again, analyze it with me, if you will, ladies and gentlemen. Where's the light coming from? The clue is look for the shadows. So what do you think then? Where would you say the light's coming from, Diana?
I would say the left, kind of leftish, on the left-hand side.
Somehow on the left, yeah. Look at the shadow down here, and then follow the shadow lines back. And Diana's saying over here somewhere is where the light's coming from.
Yes.
Yeah. I rather think it's rather more over there because I've got shadow lines here. You can see where my pointer's going, which indicate to me that the light is coming from behind it. I'd agree with the behind, but I think it's a little bit to the right. Nonetheless, that's what's showing up the engraving. So an interesting one, Brian. Tell us what it is, Brian.
It is a paperweight, and I was disappointed because the yacht itself is in 3D within it. And I couldn't actually get the photograph to show that it looks flat and like an engraving, but it isn't an engraving.
Yeah.
No, it's one of the things. It's actually inside the glass. Do they do that with lasers? I believe.
It's inside. It's engraved inside the block of glass, is it?
Well, somehow, yeah. I think they do it with lasers. It's sort of 2 lasers coming in at different angles.
Oh right. Okay. Well, that's an interesting one, Brian. Thank you. And the challenge always in this case is to analyze where the light's coming from. So you've certainly got some light at an interesting angle. I'm not sure it's oblique. I'm really not sure it's oblique. It's rather more like a silhouette lighting. But anyway, thank you for that one. Let's move on to Brian's number 2. Now, I can't make head or tail out of this. safe to say, if I look at Brian's number 3, which is that, and then I come back to Brian's number 2, are we looking at the same thing? Has he cooked this up somehow to take this glass vase, that one, and shoot down pretty much on top of it, and then done some sort of photo manipulation, jiggery pokery software to make it this really strange shape? I don't know, Brian, over to you. Talk to us.
I was confused with the definition for the light. I looked up oblique photography and found that it applied to aerial photography, and it was used for creating bombing targets and the like. And as I was unlikely to go to Southend Airport, I tried to interpret oblique in a different way. I went to Photoshop my elements, and I clicked on filters, and under filters there is distort, and on some of the distortions there was one class glass, and so that's what elements produces.
Right, so Brian, is it actually that?
Yes.
Seen from a very slightly different angle, you're shooting it from overhead.
It's taken from above.
Yeah, yeah.
But the actual program has foreshortened it.
Yeah, I understand that. Right, well, that's interesting. That's two things, isn't it? So,
I
what
found it
about
quite
the lighting? Sorry, Brian, say again.
I found it quite an attractive presentation.
It's really challenging. It is challenging. What about the lighting? Where's the light coming from then? Anyone volunteer? Where's the light coming from?
Right.
Right.
To the right, as we look at it, I'd agree with you, because the shadows are going off to the left. When I first saw it, I thought my eyes were playing me up. It was really strange. But as Brian has explained, he's then used some photo manipulation, jiggery pokery, and turned it into this quite challenging object. So well done on that. So it's definitely oblique lighting. And if we go to the next one, once again, trying to analyze where the light's coming from helps us to see the three-dimensionality of this. And I think three-dimensionality does it all, and shadows do it all. And we can see here quite clearly from the shadows that the light is coming from above the photo as we look at it, above and to the right, giving us these shadows of the vase. Is it a vase, Brian?
Yes, I bought it at a jumble sale. I paid 50p for it.
Cool.
I'm delighted because it's handmade.
Yeah.
And so I actually have it displayed with a carving inside it, because the actual glass itself distorts the image. And that's why I took this photograph, because
and you've got a brownish green carpet by the window, have you, Brian?
Sorry?
And you've got a brownish green carpet by the window.
Yes.
Right, now what I can't tell, Brian, is how big this is. There's no sense of scale to it. And if you put something in that image, like a half crown or a 50p piece, or even a 20p piece, maybe even put it inside the vase, it would have helped me to get a sense of scale, because that might be 1 inch by 1 inch by 4 inches, or it might be a mile wide and a mile long and 3 miles high, and I don't.
Not very likely.
It is in fact 18 inches high.
Is it?
Your title was oblique, and I putting something in, a key in it, would take away the obliqueness of it.
Okay, I'll go along with that, but just understand what I'm saying about scale. That
Yes.
I can't tell the scale of this. I imagine it to be around about 1 inch by 1 inch by 4 inches, but you're telling me it's 18 inches high. That's a big vase. If
Yes.
you paid 50p for that, you did very well indeed.
I did, yes.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, well, thank you for that then. So on my notes, I've got the engraved paperweight and a vase. And the other one was a vase as well. Let's move on from that one. So thank you for that. And Diana, now this is a very, very reminiscent photo.
Yeah.
It echoes one that I took some years ago, and I put it on the internet for some reason. I don't know why. Did I send it to somebody? Did I just put it on Facebook? I don't know. And it was stolen. The photo was actually stolen and published in a book, and it was in the AA, you know, the Automobile Association Guide for Dog Walkers, places to go and walk your dog. And there was my picture that they'd stolen. It didn't pay me anything for it, and they did apologise when I wrote to them. But I should, in truth, have sent them a bill. Really, really good shadows. I love the shadows in this, and the shadows, it's all about the shadows. And it does give us the idea, doesn't it, that the sunlight is very low, so it's coming in obliquely. I would normally have expected an oblique light to come in from the left or the right, or nearly the left and nearly the right. But in this case, it's coming straight in. And so I totally agree with the shadows. It's giving us a little bit of a silhouette effect, which isn't quite what we were looking for, but there's something else that's noticeable about this. And I wonder if you know how Diana has done it. Let me just make a note on Diana now. Well, what's the most noticeable photographic achievement in this, apart from the wonderful, wonderful shadows and the stroke line, which Mo is a delicate russet color, beautifully selected, but there's something else about this photo.
A neutral density filter.
Is it the Polaroid filter?
Yeah, neutral density filter.
No.
Don't think so. That's not what I'm groping for. No.
Rays of the sun.
Are you talking about the flares on the sun?
Yes.
The flare lines.
Right. The starburst lines on the sun.
It'd be a small aperture, perhaps.
Yes, Terry. Well done. That's exactly what I'm asking for. So give me a number, Terry.
1622.
22 if you can do it. Some cameras will go to even f64, f32 and f64. I don't know about modern cameras. I'm going back to old cameras, the type of which we used to have donkeys years ago, which would shut down to f64. And these small apertures, big number, small hole, will give you the starburst effect. So it's worth considering if you're doing street lights or night photography, shut down your aperture to the smallest you can make it, and you'll get the starburst effect. Now, back in the year dot, or slightly before, we used to be able to buy a starburst filter. Some older members of the group will remember a starburst filter, and they've probably still got one in their gadget bag. I don't know, does anyone still have a starburst filter?
Yeah, I think I have.
Yeah, I thought you might have. And that will, without doing anything else, without worrying about the aperture, will give specular highlights, this starburst effect. Now, it was a little bit of a gimmick, and I'm not sure it did anything special other than spoil a perfectly good photo. But this has been really, really well achieved. Whether it's oblique or not, I think is debatable. I think if it's obliquely lit, it should be lit from one side or the other, not silhouette lighting. But I think it's a lovely photo. I just hope the AA don't steal it.
I mean, you could say it's oblique to the ground, couldn't you?
Well, Yes, it was. The sun was setting, and I read that the winter sun is considered. The rays are considered oblique.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point. I think that's a valid point. The rays are coming obliquely into the ground there, and I'm wondering if you had walked into the scene, maybe on the right-hand side there, and looked back across, you'd have got and the hillocks, the shape, the form of the ground is so really well shown by the shadows. I just wonder whether you've taken others in your roll of 36 exposure film, and you have some taken off from the side. Did you take any others, Diana?
Yes, I did. I couldn't get the shadow. I wanted the sun really slightly hidden behind one of the trunks of the trees.
Yeah.
But if you go to that spot, you'll see there's no tall trees in the background to do that.
Yeah, no, it's a lovely photo. I like that. I rather suspect that will make a lovely print on the right sort of paper, maybe a very slightly textured paper. I think that would be a lovely print. And do you know, have you got the EXIF data? Do you know the aperture that you said it is?
Yeah. It was f/18.
18, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the highest you can go?
No.
You can go higher, right?
Yeah.
Quite clearly, if you were to set it to f32 or f64, if you were able to, that means much less light is going in. So you've got something like 2 stops less light going in. So you've got to move something 2 stops faster. That is to say, either your ISO 2 stops faster. That is to say, if it's 100, go up to 200, that's 1 stop, go up to 400, that's 2 stops, or your shutter speed, if it was 100th, make it a 50th, 2 100ths, or 4 100ths, a 25th, to get the same volume of light, let me call it that, the same exposure value. Some people may have heard of exposure values. If you double one, halve the other, and doesn't quite work with the aperture numbers, I know, but nonetheless, if you know your stops, you're in business. So very well done with that one. I'm just going to call that the woods and move on to the next one. Thank you for that, Diana. It's a super picture. And if we're, now look at this. Oh my golly gosh, what a fantastic image that is. I've got Bill in the way of it. I'll just try and move him out of the way. There he is. Now, obliquely lit, it certainly is. What is it? I rather suspect it's vertical blinds and a window somewhere. The light is quite clearly coming in from the left, and it absolutely perfectly shows the roundness of the blinds. Now, Diana might say, well, you're wrong, it's not that, it's Venetian blinds. I don't know, but that's what it's saying to me. Diana, do you want to tell us about that photo?
Yes, it's it is a blind, but it's not. It's a vertical blind. Sorry, it's a horizontal blind.
Oh, right.
And it was the morning sun was coming in, kind of filtering in through the shutters.
Beautiful.
So it's a shutter rather than a blind.
I understand, yes. And I'm feeling that those shutter blades are curved. It's giving me very much a curved feeling. And that's absolutely perfect. That's really hit the nail on the head of what I was aiming for you to achieve, everyone to achieve, of showing 3-dimensionality by having obliquely lit subjects. Whether it's a glass vase or a boy's head, or in this case, the shutter blades, let me call them, doesn't matter, but that is wonderful. Now, as an image, I don't know how your judges are doing in your various clubs, but we had the most awful judge on Monday in Benfleet, and a lot of judges would poo-poo this and just say it's a pattern picture. Yeah, a pattern picture. But a pattern picture can be quite hard to make interesting and absorbing, and I think this is interesting. It's one of a style of photos that you may or may not be familiar with. But pattern pictures, you'll often see patterns, and it's the sort of thing that if you show this to your grandma, if you're lucky enough still to have a grandma, then they'd probably say to you, well, why did you take a picture of that? Well, because we are photographers, and it's a pattern picture, and it really is a very, very good pattern picture. If you get one of those grumpy old judges that really doesn't understand what the devil you're trying to do here, then I guess in every case, the title is everything. Try to tell the judge what you're hoping that the image will address. Seepage of light, yeah. I think I'd work a little bit on the title if you were to put it into a club competition, just to let the judge know something about the obliqueness of the light, the roundness of the blades of the blind, and yet I think that ticks every box. Well done, well done. Anyone else like to make a comment on that one?
I think it's lovely.
Lovely, yeah, I think
it's
so.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I think really, if you could find 3 to make a triptych of 3 very simplistic minimalist, have you heard the word minimalist photos? It really means not busy, very, very little in it. A minimalist patterned photo, in this case with oblique lighting, beautifully done. If you could find 3 to make a triptych, I think you'd be on a winner there, Diana. So very well done indeed. Let's move on. Thanks, mate, for that comment. Squashed together. So here, Diana has been up to Morrison's, Safeways, and bought some squashes, and she'd seen this lovely texture. If I was going to give you texture for your next project, then these are a super thing to take, as are oranges, lemons, garlic, anything with a real crinkly skin that you can get texture into. And again, look at the lighting. Very easy question. Where's the lighting coming from? Dead easy. Look at the squash on the right-hand side. Look how round that appears to be. And it's really, really excellent. I'm impressed with that one. Very much addressing oblique lighting and showing us roundness. I like it a lot. Thank you, Diana. Had you considered chopping one of those open and just showing us a section cut out?
No, I didn't. I thought it would spoil it. I just like the colours and the shape of the squash as they were.
Yeah, I like particularly the way that the one in the foreground, the orange one, shades into darkness on the right hand side, and on the left hand side here is in full light, giving us exactly what we're looking for at oblique lighting. So I'm just going to call that squashes. What did you call it? Squashed together. Yeah, okay, good one. All right, we'll move on then. And now I've got to just reduce that, I think, for you to see the fullness of this one. Now this is Fred's photo. Are you there, Fred? Are you with us?
I'm here.
Yeah. I think you will agree, ladies and gentlemen, that this is quite a challenge. You need to look at it and try to understand what it's a photo of. And then when the penny drops, you'll understand how the light is coming in obliquely through the gap between the door and the wall, the door jamb. The clue, I guess, is that little photo frame in the top left-hand corner there, which I rather like, and it gives me a sense of scale. Once I've sussed that it's a gap in between the door and the wall, then I know the scale that I'm looking at. And then I'm challenged by this, whatever this is. But then the more I look into the darkness, I see a dark shape, maybe a coffee table or a stool or some sort of table with an object, maybe a vase or a glass carving, something like that. Not at all certain what that is, and I don't care. I don't mind because it's giving me a sense of space here. That's an excellent photo. Oblique light through a door. Yeah, quite a challenging photo. And I think that's very, very well seen indeed. Suzanne, do you have any comments about that?
I like it. I think it's very, very effective. Yeah, very nice.
It is,
yeah,
isn't it?
very dramatic and intriguing. It makes, as you say, makes you look at it. I do like that.
Yes, yeah, very good. And what about this photo frame in the top left-hand corner up here, Suzanne? Any comments?
Well, you said it gives it a sense of scale, but I mean, I wouldn't have made it, you know, I don't think that makes any difference. I just think the fact that the door is sort of slightly open and you're wondering, what's on the other side or who might come in, or it just intrigues you, I think.
Absolutely.
So it almost tells a story.
Exactly. I think that's a cracking good photo, Fred. So well done on that one. I must say I spent a lot of time looking at that and wondering. On my screen, I've just put my finger over the photo frame and then I've taken it away. And I actually wonder whether you've considered that image without the photo frame, Fred. What do you think?
To a degree I did, but it's a colour image, but the whole of the photo looks black and white, doesn't it? But
Absolutely.
that image of the photo frame is obviously coloured, so
Right.
I left it in.
Right, you left it in. Okay, so you weren't thinking scale, you were thinking a little bit of colour makes the picture.
Yes.
Load if I can see a photo frame.
I think it adds interest.
Well,
I know David said it adds scale, but I think it adds interest and it makes you want to walk through that door and just see what's on the other side.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's right, which is what Suzanne was saying as well. So, Fred, I think that's another winning photo, and you'll notice Fred's put a very thin mid-grey stroke line around it, no fuzzy edges, really well done. So that's an excellent photo. Well done, Fred. You've given me a real challenge, to folks, this month. You really have. I'll move on from that, and I come to this one. Now, this is something I want Bill to comment on, because there's something about this. And Bill, come on, help me to understand this photo. Tell us all about it. Remembering that the challenge is oblique.
Well, yeah, the light's coming directly from the left, by the looks of things, and it's a a paper cone that's been slightly twisted, but it's not a round cone, if you can do it. No, it's looks like an octagonal cone or something like that. But the top of it's just had a bit of twist put in it. Yeah, bit of origami, nice.
Very, very good origami, and I wondered to begin with whether it was a photo manipulated construct. That is to say, the thing doesn't exist. A bit like you see on films, CG, whatever it's called, CGT. What is it? I don't know. But I then saw that there's a pencil line. I don't know if you can see it on your screens. There's a pencil line here going around and then around. So then I've decided, and Fred's going to tell us we're all wrong, it's actually something else altogether, that it's a real thing. And having made it, he's then cut it off obliquely. It's a cone. I rather suspect it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe an 8-sided cone, is it? Fred's going to tell us in a minute.
It's 12.
And then he's cut that off deliberately at an oblique angle. So he's not only lighting it obliquely, but it's also truncated obliquely. So it's a truncated cone. What else are we going to say? Yes, the super thing about this, what I really like, is the way that we know the light's coming in from the left-hand side. I don't know if I can enlarge it a little bit for you. Let's see if I can enlarge that a little. Yeah. but you can see the brightness of the side facing the cone is brightest. A little bit less bright is this one, with a tad of shadow, as the point of the cone, I suspect, wasn't very easy to make. The next one is darker, and then although I'm expecting this one to say, I'm expecting to be able to say that's even darker, it's actually not. So one of the questions I'm going to ask somebody that isn't Fred to explain is why that one is lighter. Very, very interesting. Anyway, Fred, back to you. Give us the full Monty.
I made that out of cardboard. In fact, here it is. Just a simple fold up of cardboard.
Right.
Basically, simple geometry.
Yep.
And an oblique cone. I actually ran out of ideas. You set a very difficult challenge this month. And I was thinking, I looked up in the dictionary and that came up, oblique cone. I thought, well, I can make one of those.
Yeah.
Photograph it.
Yeah.
And that's how it came about.
Well, I think it's very well done, and it was meant to be a difficult challenge, and ladies and gentlemen, you have all made such fantastic attempts at addressing it. I am really very, very pleased with you. So well done to everyone. Let's talk about the brightness on these faces then, the faces of the cone itself. Anything you can tell me about the brightness of the faces, and what do you think about those? Well, anyone volunteering without me?
Is the face above the black, the face that you expected to be black?
That one, yep.
Yeah. And is not black. Is that receiving light from the paper that it's on?
Exactly right, Bill. Exactly right. What's happening there is the light from the paper around it is reflecting up and into the face. So for instance, to do the same sort of thing, if you look at my face and I bring a notepad up to my face, if I do it correctly, can you see the way that the light's reflecting off of the notepad onto my face? So if you're doing portraiture, yeah, and if we look at Terry sitting still, sit still, Terry. No, don't swing around, sit still. Look at Terry's face. Can you see that Terry's face on the right-hand side is in shade? And it's actually fine. He's obliquely lit from the left as we look at him. The left as we look at him, side of his face, is in light, the right is in shade. But if we put a reflector here, which can be as simple as a piece of newspaper, that would bring light into the eyes, particularly opening up. That's it. Go on, Terry, do that. That's it. Brilliant. You see the way that that's bringing light into the shade side of Terry's face. And that, if I go back to Fred's cone, is exactly what's going on here. So the use of a reflector, nothing technical. You can either use those Perspex sheets I gave you years and years and years ago, or not. You can use a sheet of paper. Some people would use professional reflectors, which you can, but a sheet of paper works absolutely fine. You just need someone to hold it, yeah? Because you run out of hands. Holding a reflector, holding your camera, telling the subject what to do. So some sort of grip or mechanism for holding your sheet of paper up. So that's got a lot of photographic technique about it. So well done with that one, Fred. Anyone else have anything to say? No, let's move on then. Go on to Fred's number 3. And if it's working, it's trying. There we go. Now, this I suspect is when Fred got to the stage of thinking, what on earth can I do now? Because I've done those two. And he's decided to associate oblique angle with the photograph. And in doing so, he's shown us here the tripod head. I think that's a Manfrotto tripod head. Is that right, Fred?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. And he's shown us that it's pitched over at an angle. not too worried about the angle itself, the value of the angle, but it's certainly showing us an interpretation of oblique and an oblique angle, which is where the title is taking us. So always, always, always look at the title. I sometimes get a bit disturbed when I'm judging. They flash the title up for about 2 seconds, and then I'm expected to judge an image when I go to certain clubs, and the title's gone. And I have to ask the projectionist, what was the title again? Do tell me the title. So it addresses very well the oblique angle. So I'm just going to leave it at that. That's a good way of addressing what was a difficult challenge. I don't know if you're working on the theory that some people have, that I always tell you next month's challenge as I go along, but I have actually mentioned next month's challenge several times. And, I'm not
Texture.
Sure. Sorry, say Max?
Texture.
Oh, texture. Oh.
Am I right?
No.
Fair enough.
Good guess, though. Good guess. Yeah. Okay. So Iris has given us the incoming tide, lit from the side, which gives us a lovely feeling of the shape of the waves, the wavelets coming in. And that's actually quite difficult to do. But she's got the camera relatively low. One of the advantages in Iris's camera, and I think Terry's as well, is that they have a screen on the back that can fold out and angle itself. So you can hold the camera down at knee level and angle the screen so you can actually see what the camera is looking at. The other way of doing it is to use a twin lens reflex. If those of you that are a certain vintage will recall a twin lens reflex, where you look down into the viewfinder, but you hold the camera down at waist level, and that was then taking waist level photos rather than eye level photos. You know, some judges sometimes talk about 5'8" and f8, and what do they mean? Holding the camera at eye level, that's the 5'8", and f8 because that's the sort of bog standard average. And I know you are not bog standard average photographers, so you're able to get away from f8 at 5'8". So well done, good shape to the waves. What about the shutter speed? Mo, what do you say about shutter speed in this case?
Yeah, that's a fast shutter speed.
Tell me why.
Oh, because the waves are frozen. They're not blurred.
Yep, good. Okay. Had they been blurred, I rather suspect it would have spoilt this three-dimensionality of the waves that we are seeing in this image. So well done, Iris. Let's move on to the next one. And the late evening. Now, we've very much, well, we're getting the silhouette effect, aren't we? And yet the sun is not coming straight into us from the sky. So the question is, where is the sun? The sun is off to the left as we look at the image, and that's giving us the obliqueness of this light. Nonetheless, very little is actually hitting the tree trunk, and none is hitting the trees in the background. So it's very much an oblique lighting, but without much reflected light coming up and into the trees. Now, if you have, I don't know which Photoshop you're using, but certainly certain Photoshops have a slider which will bring up the shadows. Now, I don't know what Elements does. Somebody's going to tell me. I think Max has got Elements. And I know Bill's got Photoshop 6 or 5, and I know Suzanne's got something funny on her iPad. She has told me what it is. What is it you've got, Suzanne?
PixArt.
PixArt.
Yeah.
Right, thank you. Now, I don't know whether the PixArt has a slider that will enlighten, bring up the brightness of the shadows. Does it, Suzanne, or not?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, it does quite a lot.
Worth exploring, because I think in Iris's case here, what we've largely ended up with, I hope Iris will agree with me, is a silhouette. Yeah, and I agree it's obliquely lit, but I would have liked a little more light to fall or appear to fall on these trees themselves. Iris, are you there?
Yes, here I am.
What Photoshop are you using?
I tried it in Photoshop, and I didn't like the effect that it gave me.
Right. Okay. Well, we do it for ourselves. You do
Yeah,
it.
I didn't like it. I played with it quite a lot, and I didn't like it.
Right. Well, that's a.
I felt the light was coming through. I don't know what you can see of me, but you know, here at the bottom, on the bottom to the right, it was coming under the tree. Possibly I should have cut the thing off a bit.
Yeah. No, I'm quite happy with the crop. I'm happy with the crop. It just seems to me that the darkness of this tree trunk, it's really totally silhouette rather than getting any light up into the tree trunk itself. If I look at it on the big screen, I think, are you shooting in RAW?
Yes.
Yeah. Then you should have detail in that RAW file that you can bring out. If you look for the shadow slider and just tweak it up a little bit and see whether you can get some a bit more detail in that right hand side there. But it certainly does.
To be honest, I didn't really try and get any more detail in there. The main point I felt it was the sky and the light coming low across. I felt obliquely.
Now,
that was the way that I saw it.
Yeah, that's good. You have got the light coming in obliquely. Did you use a polarizing filter?
No, I didn't use any filters at all.
Right, might be interesting. Might have been interesting to put a polarizing filter or even polarizing sunglasses on the lens and just see what effect you could get. It will give quite a bit more sky texture in the sky, and yeah, I like it as a silhouette photo, and I like it that it's lit obliquely. I just like a little more interest in the bark of the tree and a bit more structure to the sky. But thank you for putting that one in. I'm just going to say, what do you call it? Late evening. So I'm just going to call that evening. So well done for that one. I'll move on and get my mouse to behave. And Monty Don. So Monty's in the garden. I'm not sure we've got the whole of the image on the screen. Let's try it that way. Yeah, that's better. And you've got the oblique light coming in. That's rather a lovely picture of Monty. I think you're a little bit too high up in taking the photo of him, but had you moved the camera down, I rather suspect you'd have had the buildings and the cars and the car park and the roadway in the background that you really didn't want. Nonetheless, you will see, ladies and gentlemen, that the oblique lighting has given us shadows, and the clue to oblique lighting, roundness, scale is in the shadows. Really, it's in the shadows. So if we try to analyze this and see where the light's coming from, it's clearly coming from our left as we look at the image, off camera, and really quite low, because you can see how long the shadows are here, and that's good in itself. So well done on that one. I love, in particular, if I just enlarge it, the glint in Monty's eye. Isn't that good? I like that a lot. That's lovely. Always, if you're doing portraiture of any type, try to get the eyes sharp and try to get a highlight in the eye. That will really make the portrait of the person or the animal, in this case Monty the dog, to come up really very well. Smart looking dog, lovely dog.
Did you use a reflector in front to put the light back into the dog's face? Because the light seems to be coming, well, the light seems to be coming from behind. So how do you get a catch light in his eye?
Ah, right. Now, I don't think it's coming from well, I see what you're saying. I would say the light's coming from behind the photographer, but off to the left-hand side as we look at it, because I'm looking at the shadow of the dog going out in that direction. You see what I'm saying? So I think the light's coming in from behind and to the left.
Well, where did the shadows come from? That are these long shadows on the right.
This one here.
Yeah.
Don't know. Don't know. That might be. Well, we'll ask Iris. Can you help us with that one?
Well, it was late evening. I'm not 100% certain. It's not the spot in the eye that came from Photoshop.
Ah,
right.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Well done.
That's good. That's good. Oh, we'll learn from each other.
That was the anomaly that was worrying me.
Yeah, there is a way of doing it, which I came across only last week. But what somebody had done in the studio, they'd taken their glasses and they'd reflected a little bit of light. Can you see the reflection on my glasses from the window? If I do that, can you see that against my face?
No, I can't.
Yes or no?
No.
Yeah. And so they'd use their glasses alongside the camera or wherever, moving them around so as to reflect the window light into their glasses and then into the dog's eye. So actually there was a real reflection there in the dog's eye. You don't
really have time to do any of that.
Oh, God.
He's on the lead, he's there, and you take it because it's later or 2 seconds later, it's gone.
Yes.
Got to be quick, and you haven't got time, certainly, about with that.
I understand. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lovely picture of Monty. Thank you. Let's move on from that one then to Caroline's Winset Trees. Now, let's just contrast this, if I may, with one we've seen very recently. I am seeing a little bit of texture on the tree bark here and here. So I can clearly tell that the light's coming in from the side. We're told that it's windswept trees, but I'm seeing a monkey up here.
Yeah, it was Gibraltar.
Ah, so it is a monkey, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. I thought it was maybe my imagination. Once again, I love the sky. Look at that sky there. Now, I know what the answer is, but I'll ask you, did you use a polarizing filter?
No.
Had you used one, look at this lovely sky. The quality of that sky could have been enhanced with a polarizing filter. Yeah. Funnily enough, I've just ordered one for myself. I find that I haven't got one that fits my one of my lenses, and I'm waiting for Mr. Amazon to come today with my polarizing filter. So I do commend that sky to people, and once again recommend the polarizing filter. Look at the tree, look at the monkey, and would you agree with me that now I've seen that is a monkey, and I thought it was in the first place, it gives some sense of the size of the tree. I now know this tree is something about 20 feet high. It's not a little tiny branch down at ground level, and it's not a 60-foot Canadian redwood. It's about 20 feet high. Caroline might disagree. She might say, is it Caroline? Yeah, it's Caroline. Might say, well, no, it's actually something else. Well, tell us about it, Caroline.
Well, it was just on the top of the mountain at Gibraltar, right at the top. And I took it sort of from the left-hand side.
Yeah.
But it was, didn't really think of it much at the time. But the reason I sent it in this time, not because I thought it was fantastic, but I was getting a bit desperate. And I was thinking of oblique angles rather than oblique lighting.
Yeah. Well, I was going to compliment you on being given the really difficult challenge of oblique, that you've gone and got yourself an airline ticket to go to Gibraltar deliberately.
Yeah.
So well done on that. But like all of us,
you don't see many monkeys in Benfleet, do you?
depends how close to the school you live.
Oh, that's true.
Here we are. Yeah, terrific. I like the lighting coming in from the side. I just wish you'd invested in a polarizing filter. Do you have a polarizing filter, Caroline?
No, I don't know.
All right, Christmas.
I don't know if it would fit on my camera anyway.
Yeah, well, you buy one to fit on your camera. You look at the diameter of your lens. It will say on the lens what the diameter across it is. And it's only a few, well, couple of quid, you know. Doesn't cost
you'll be lucky.
Yeah.
Well, it depends what lens you buy.
You'll be lucky at a couple of quid.
Yeah.
Actually, if I'd thought of it at the time, because I actually had polarizing sunglasses on, I was wearing them, but I should have put them in. I should have put them in front of the lens instead.
Well, what you do, you take your polarizing sunglasses and you turn them in front of the lens, so as to get the maximum effect. Because as you turn a polarizing filter, you will get to a position where the effect is maximum. Any more, and it goes away. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So that's what you do with a polarizing filter. These, incidentally, they are called circular polarizing filters. Don't get linear, get circular. Yeah. Okay. Well, put it on your Christmas list. A couple of quid. I'm sure you'll get one for, well, maybe 50 bob. There you go. Anyway.
Okay. More like 20 quid.
No.
More like 50.
Yeah.
No way.
Well, good job Christmas coming up then.
Absolutely. I'll tell Edward, shall I? I'll phone him later.
Good idea.
Okay, so trees. Make sure you know what size you want, otherwise you'll order the wrong thing.
Okay.
We'll move on. So next one, Caroline's. Now, what about this? Now, what about this, ladies and gentlemen? Now, did I mention to you pattern picture earlier?
Yeah.
Were we looking at the blinds? Were we looking at minimalist pictures? Did we look at the gap in the door with the light coming through it? Now you got to work out what the devil's going on.
I think I have to explain.
Well,
I was thinking of the obliques. You know, the forward slashes are called obliques.
Yep.
So I took a photo of my keyboard.
Yep.
And then I played about with it a bit.
Fantastic.
And it came out like that.
Fantastic. And what?
And I took the photo at an angle as well.
Yes. Yeah, it's great. So she's actually got the oblique slash here on the keyboard. You can see here the opening bracket. The whole thing is repeated 4 times. Brown, mauve, blue, and green for Mo's benefit. There's nothing red there, Mo. And she's combined 4 representation, 4 photos. It's probably the same photo. Change the hue in each one, and then slice them together. That's really good. And once again, I would suggest that if you can do 2 more, you've then got a triptych, which is really, really challenging. Well done. Had I given you triptych, that would have been a winning photo. Absolutely.
Right.
On its own, it is a winning photo because it's blooming good and very, very well constructed. So compliments on that. This is why I've got such a struggle to think of something for you all, which is going to be a challenge, a real challenge. It's not point and shoot. You've all left point and shoot behind well in the past, and you've made something fantastically outstanding here. And it's not obliquely lit, it's the oblique slash. When we type oblique, then we've got that. And Caroline has used that and made a stunningly good photo. So very, very well done. So oblique slash, yeah. I think that's outstanding. Totally outstanding. So well done on that. Anyone else have anything to say about it? Minimalist, challenges the view. It's a pattern picture. Once you realize what it's a picture of, you can see the scale of the thing. the picture is bigger than the actual keyboard slash key, isn't it? I must say, I don't know if you've got a Continental keyboard, but my slash key's got a question mark above it. Yours is yours a Continental keyboard?
Well, my one, no.
Yeah.
It's just a
What?
normal keyboard.
Ah, well, my one's got, yeah, my keyboard's got the question mark above it. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is it on your laptop or is it on an iPad or what?
No, yeah, it's my iPad.
Oh,
It's the
right.
keyboard of my iPad.
Ah, right. Somebody else with an iPad. Look at your iPad for me and tell me what's above the slash key.
Can't do it while I'm in Zoom.
Suzanne?
I'm just having a look. Hang
Who's
on.
got an iPad? What's above the slash? On the same.
Oh, yes, it's what Caroline's got.
Is it?
Yes, it's a kind of reverse
backslash.
Yeah.
Suzanne, are you there?
Yeah, mine just shows an ordinary backslash with nothing else on it. Mind you, I'm looking at an old iPad, so maybe it's different on a modern one.
Yeah, that's interesting. On your iPad number keys, will you read me the top 3 numbers on an iPad number keys?
Me? I can't see my.
You can't.
On mine,
see my keyboard.
Suzanne?
On Zoom.
On mine, it says 1, 2, 3.
At the top?
Yeah, the top line just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0.
Are they? Is it a 3x3?
If I hold it up, hang on. Can you see? I can't see what I'm doing because I've only.
Don't worry. I'm just interested to ask.
Hang on. Look. Hang on. There you go. Can you see the keyboard now?
Yeah.
Flash.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah, you're across the keyboard. Yeah, okay, that's a bit different. I understand.
Sorry,
Right,
it's
well,
fun, but
if I show you a calculator, and I'm not sure you can see that calculator. Can you see that calculator?
No, it's gone off the screen now. No.
Well, anyway, across the top of the calculator,
It's got 7, 8, 9.
it's got 789.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is exactly what it's got on my computer keyboard. But here we go. Anyway, I'm off the topic. Cracking good image. So well done for that. It's a pattern. It's a pattern photo, and it's a real challenge. Well done, Caroline. I think that's a really, really good one. Next one from Caroline. She's found this smoothing plane, which is slightly off my screen. Back on the screen, that's better. And she's put it over at an angle. She's lit it obliquely, as you can see from the shadows, and she's somehow achieved a little bit of vignetting around the side here, which is good because it brings our attention on the smoothing plane. Unfortunately, I can't actually see any part of the smoothing plane which is sharp. If I look at the handle end, that's soft. If I look at the blade, it's soft. If I look at the knob on the front, the other handle, that's soft. The whole thing is soft. The only thing I can say is approaching sort of sharpness is a piece of the, is it a carpet? Is it a mat?
Yeah, it's a carpet.
It's a carpet.
That's why I did the vignetting, to get rid of a bit of the carpet.
Good, well done you. Well, I think it's very well lit. Look at the way the light's coming in from the side, and the smoothing plane itself is over to the side at an oblique angle. So I rather like the way you've done that. The only problem is the sharpness. I think you perhaps were a bit too close with your camera, but well done on that. So I'm just going to call that in my notes plane.
Just as a matter of interest, I think my Stanley plane has got a break in the handle in exactly the same place.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, well, we'll move on to this one now. This is right up my street, Max. This is lovely. When did you take this, dear?
Can't remember. It was a while ago. It was I think it was probably a Greek island, hence the blue on the sails. It's a while ago.
Yeah, beautiful. So let's just think about this. Caroline, sorry, Max is trying to address oblique, and what she's given us here is almost an oblique slash. Yeah, but this lovely foresail, this basically means the front sail on the boat here. This is the front of the boat is in this direction off to the right, and the light is coming in from the right. So the cross trees, these things here are called cross trees, that you know is a mast. The light is coming in and giving us a roundness in this mainsail. Yeah, and that's exactly what we're looking for. That is a terrific, almost minimalist photo. Minimalist in that there's not a lot in it. It's not terribly busy, and there's a beautiful roundness to that sail, which is meant to be that shape. It's not meant to be dead flat. It's meant to be round. As the wind comes in, the wind comes in and fills the sail to this beautiful shape, and the lights coming in around that shape obliquely. That does it all for me. I think that's a cracker. Well done, Max. Anything else to say about it? No, you're all happy with that? Well done, Max.
Very evocative of a lovely day.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
And you were lying on the deck at the time in the sun, were you?
It doesn't need clouds.
It was a catamaran, and they had nets at the front, and it was rather gorgeous.
Yeah.
I like the depth. You can see the depth.
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful image. I like that a lot. Have you got two more to make a triptych?
I have, but I haven't got them today.
No. But I mean, you've got them in your camera.
I have. I
think they would make three wonderful.
I probably have close to 50. As Dave said the other day, God, why do you take so many pictures of the same thing?
Well, maybe we ought to enroll him in the.
No, don't go there.
Okay, well, I think you did very well with that one. So I'm just going to call that sail. So thanks for that one. I'll move on. Now this one, Clayman's Shadow, is our title, and all I could make out is this is some sort of eroded cliff where the soil or the rock, it's probably sandstone that's been eroded by the wind and the sun and the waves and the snow and the ice, and over the years has made this strange shape. Now, I think it was Bill that mentioned Rorschach shapes earlier, and you've got to try and imagine something in here. Well, I think I can see what looks like an Easter Island carving, but I can also see one of those Greek flying horses, and yet the question is, the task is oblique. So what's oblique about this? Well, the light's coming in from the right at quite a low angle, and we're seeing the shadow. This is the flying horse I'm speaking of. There's a name for that flying horse that escapes me. Here is the carving of the man. Here's his nose, his two eyes, his mouth, and his body here, maybe two eyes. And that, I guess, is where they've got Clayman from. Max is going to tell us where it is, so we all know where to go when they allow us to travel. And the light quite clearly is coming in. You can actually draw a line from the shadow of the head to the head itself. So the light's coming in from somewhere over there. Not quite as low as perhaps you might have liked, but it is coming in obliquely, and it's giving us three-dimensionality. Now, I haven't got a whole lot of scale in this. I can't tell where a 50p piece would go.
You wouldn't see it, David. It's huge.
I wondered, exactly. I wondered. Would it be, you know, just a coin, like nothing, you wouldn't see it, it's just there? Or would it be a big thing here? I don't know. I cannot tell. What I do like is the sky. You've just got a bit of texture, and you know, I'm one of those judges that hates plain blue skies, but you've got detail in this sky, and it's beautifully well done. Am I right in this is the body, the face, the eyes, the
No,
mouth?
no. It depends on how your brain works. The top piece of the man at the front, you've got the eye at the top, and you've got a great big bulbous nose, and that's his chin a bit lower down.
Yeah.
And you've got his body beneath.
Oh, right.
But it depends how your brain works.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
This place, I'm into geology and rocks, and this place blew my mind.
Where is it, Max?
This is Bryce Canyon in America.
Right.
There's a ring of national parks all around the Grand Canyon, and this is one that I'd never ever heard of.
Yeah.
We just turned up, and this, you have to go to see it. It's unbelievable.
What is it? Is it sandstone?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's sandstone, and it's been eroded by, like you say, wind, rain, water, and there's everything. There's E.T., there's Queen Victoria, there's you name it, it's there.
Fabulous.
And
now, tell us about the size of this thing then, Max.
They're about 40 foot high.
Really?
Yes, they're huge. Absolutely. Right. There's this huge hole in the ground, and you cannot believe how big it is. It goes on for miles, and it's all different colours and black, white, green, blue.
Well, you'll understand, ladies and gentlemen, why I'm stumped in terms of the size of this, because there's nothing to give me any idea of where a 50p piece would be. Would it be lost? Would it be as big as the man's head?
It would be lost.
Exactly. Now you've told us, so we can appreciate that. But there's no sense of scale in there. But you'll see that the light is coming in obliquely. It's doing exactly what we're talking about. It's giving roundness to the shapes. Had you had a newspaper off over here, perhaps it wouldn't have been big enough, but it would have reflected some light into the dense shadow here underneath the rock behind. Incidentally, I'm seeing a cat here.
I'm seeing a fish.
You're seeing a fish. Yeah, isn't that interesting? There's a smiley face here. Can you see that smiley face? Yeah, super picture, real challenger. Thanks, Max. Going to move on and we'll go on to crazy lines. Now, I totally agree with you. It is crazy lines. I think I've got a sense of how high this is because there's a young tree here and maybe an older tree here. So I'm judging that this is 60 feet high, maybe more. It looks like one of those modern art things that you see perhaps in Singapore that you're going to tell me it's not. It's New Zealand or wherever. Doesn't matter where it is.
I think it's Tokyo.
Is it? Right. Okay. And I imagine these are glass panels in amongst this this fretwork of the building. It's probably some bank or office or I don't know.
It's going to be about 12 stories high, isn't it?
Well, you could probably count them. We'll leave you counting. You come back to us when you've counted all those stories. So, but yeah, crazy lines. But where's the light coming from? Any ideas?
It's coming from behind the photographer.
Yeah, and as such, it's very flat lighting. So the brightness on this side is pretty much the same as the brightness on that side. I'm not seeing three-dimensionality. So from obliqueness of lighting, it's just missing the mark.
Oh, but this is a variation on a theme, as in like lines. It's got oblique lines in it. So I wasn't doing the lighting, I was doing oblique lines.
See where you're going. Right. In which case, see where your title is, Crazy Lines. If you made the title Oblique Lines, so we are seeing these /obliques, then that would have guided us in our thoughts about the image. But do you agree with me that it's very flat lighting? And I agree with you that if you changed the title, it would have been even better. As it is, the only other critique I would make is that there's an awful lot of plain blue sky there. You might say there's a little bit of texture up here, but I'm struggling to see it. I'm seeing it on my small screen rather than on my big screen.
See, I like blue skies like that. I think they look brilliant.
Well, there's an important point. You do it for what you like. It doesn't matter what the judge says or what the judge thinks. You do what you like. And if you put it in the, let's say, camera club, some other camera club somewhere, and the judge doesn't like it, well, that's the judge is missing out. You do it for what pleases you, and you enjoy it. So well done, you. That's terrific. I'm happy with that one.
David, can I just say on that, on the blue sky, I mean,
Yeah.
if it had clouds behind it, presumably the shade wouldn't have stood out so much, where against the blue sky it does stand out.
Yeah, there's an important point. I think if we'd had the sort of English summertime fluffy white jobs, it would have taken away the starkness of this building against the plain sky. Nonetheless, if you'd had a polarizing filter, guess what? A couple of quid, that's all. Well, might be a little bit more. Then you'd have got some gradation, some texture in the sky. And I am seeing some gradation in that blue, but it just would have helped it as a photo. As it stands, I feel that perhaps it would have been better to crop off the top of that blue just above the building here, because that's just, to me, that's just boring. Sorry to be brutal about it, but have you got a polarizing filter, Max?
I have, but when I took this, I didn't have the camera I have now.
Ah, right, got it. I tend to leave a polarizing filter on unless I deliberately want to take it off. It does cut down the amount of light getting in, but I can usually accommodate that. It would have helped in this case. What are you using for photo manipulation, jiggery pokery software, Max?
Can't remember.
All right, okay.
I think it's PixArt. I can't remember.
PixArt, right? You might have a graduated filter that you could introduce to that image.
I could have done a vignette around the sky, but to me, the sky, I like the sky, and
no, you do what you like. Don't let me put you off.
Detract in my. My brain works differently to yours, it would appear.
No. You do what you like. You do it for yourself. That's the key thing. So I'm happy for you to do what you like, what you enjoy doing, and gives you good memories. Let's move on to Mo now. He's got this curious Dickensian shop that he's lit deliberately from the right-hand side. I'm going to guess he stood it on some sort of black textured felt or fabric, or else he's cut out what the background is. And then he's deliberately introduced a light strongly from the side, which absolutely beautifully shows the three-dimensionality of the front face of the building. Let's see if I can enlarge it for you. And that does it all. That ticks the box. Now, whether that makes a good photo is up to the author, in this case Mo, to decide. And it certainly is a good photo at addressing oblique lighting. So Mo has decided oblique refers to lighting, and just to make the point, he's inserted these light streaks. Now this is a skilled artiste at work, a skilled artiste, and he's done that very well. So Mo, well done for the Dickensian image. Not as straightforward as it looks at first view. Quite a lot of work's gone on to that. Of course, he's going to call me a liar in a minute and tell me, no, it's dead easy. So Mo, talk to us.
Would you say the light was coming in from the right, David?
Absolutely.
That's what I was trying to demonstrate.
Yes. And how did you add these streaks of light then, Mo? Do you want to tell the audience?
I added it artificially, shall I say?
Oh, we know it's artificial. That wasn't the question. We're asking how.
Well, you open an app called I can't remember what it's called. It's an app on iPad where you can insert different types of sun and stars and oblique lights, and I've just chosen one of those and put it in.
Yeah. Now, what you could have done, you could have put a light, an actual light, over on the right-hand side, used an aperture, which I've mentioned earlier, which will give you starburst, and included that in the image.
Yeah, well, the actual light is from the sun, of course. That's actually sunlight on the actual image.
Yeah, it need not be, but that's good. The sunlight.
That's what it was.
The sunlight is fine. Yeah, I like that. It's very well constructed. Thank you very much for that one. Let's move on. Mo's next one. Now, Mo always gives us challenging photos. I sometimes feel that it's good to see these challenging photos. In a club competition, you'll sometimes get some members that will put what's called judge bait into the competition just to see if the judge understands it. And here we have, Mo knows what I'm going to say. What am I going to say, Mo?
You're going to say that's a banjo.
Right, so here we have something that probably isn't a banjo.
I tried to educate you, David, but you will not be educated.
Oh dear. And Mo has deliberately positioned this obliquely. Now, what's rather wonderful about this is that the I don't know what that is. That stud.
It's where you hook the strap on.
Right. So strap hook. Is dead sharp. It's perfectly sharp. As is this, which I'm going to call the bridge, but Mo's going to tell me it's not. And the wires or strings going all the way up. Go on, tell me, is this a fingerboard?
Yes.
Yes. And all of that is absolutely pin sharp. So here's the question. I know Mo knows the answer, but I'm going to ask it as an open question. What was the aperture at which this photo was taken? Well, Mr. Brian Crawley, help me.
I would think it was probably f6.5.
No. F18.
It's about an 18. Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but that's what it would have been.
It's going to be a high number.
Yes.
Because everything's sharp from the very closest to the very furthest part of this mandolin.
Stop stirring it.
Now, I also like this artificial backdrop, this starry sky that Mo has put in. So not only has he got an obliquely positioned stringed instrument. What do you say it is, Mo?
What? Say that again, David.
It's not a banjo, is it? What is it?
It's called a ukulele. It's a tricky word.
Ukulele. It's one of those things, is it? Right. It's a ukulele. And he's lit it appropriately from the side. We can see these highlights here. So the light's doing this sort of angle on it. He's chosen such an aperture, a very, very small aperture, big number, as big as he possibly could. After he's taken the photo, that's given us sharpness throughout the image. I'm assuming it's a real thing. I don't know if it's a 2-inch toy or whether it's a 20-inch real job.
It's my actual instrument, David. Be careful what you're saying about it.
How big is it? How big is it?
About that big.
I'm not doing too personal about this, but how big? We can't see what you're doing with your hands.
About 2 foot.
It's
2
about
foot
3
6 long.
3 foot.
3 feet, is it?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So we have got.
Does that give you an idea?
Oh, that's it. Right.
There you go. So
Okay,
you can't see
thank
it
you.
properly.
Yeah. Right.
Well, there's the image. There's the image. Look like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So in addition to all of what we've mentioned, he's put in the starry sky. Well, you and I know that Mo is good at photo manipulation and these effects. That's rather wonderful. So it certainly addresses obliquely positioned musical instrument. But as I say, on its own, I can't tell. And I think my mother had a little brooch of one of these things, these mandolins or whatever they are. And it was about 2 inches, which to modern people would be, I guess, 5 centimeters. And I can't tell by looking at it whether this is a 2-inch brooch or a 3 foot real.
Well, David, the clue is in the title.
Yeah.
A perfect musical instrument. It's
It
not a
doesn't mean
brooch.
anything to
It's a
me.
perfect musical instrument.
It doesn't mean anything to me, but you know, that's good. You do it for what pleases you. That's okay. So well done on that, and I'm sure people will appreciate that Mo and I tease each other. And thanks, Mo. Thanks for having a sense of humour. God, it would be boring if we didn't have a sense of humour, would it? Wouldn't it? But I like that. Thanks, Mo. So I'm going to write down banjo for that one.
No.
Tell him, Suzanne. Tell him.
Right.
He can't
So
help it.
now,
He doesn't know.
sorry, say again.
I said, you can't help it if you don't know.
I can't help it. I'm too old to be able to help it. So here we've got a rather spectacular image of this bearded gentleman. Really, really well lit from the side to the left as we look at it, casting shadow onto the right as we look at him. Whether those chinks of light in the eye are real or whether they're Photoshop inputs doesn't matter tuppence. What matters is that they are there and they give a glint in the eye, a catch light in the eye, which is very, very valuable. The roundness of the gentleman's face, his forehead particularly, his cheeks and his nose, is really expertly shown. And you'll notice that Mo has given us a vignette on the top corners. There's probably an almost invisible vignette on the lower corners. They don't matter terribly. My only concern is that you cut his ear off on the right-hand side here. And I would have liked a little bit more emulsion, a little more image on the left as I look at it, just to knock him out of the center. It's all a little bit central. Nonetheless, I think he's a wonderful subject for you to photograph. Is he someone that you know?
Sadly, this man died about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He was a member of the choir. About 2 years ago, I was given a project to photograph every member of the Lee Orpheus choir, which is about 100 people. And so I sat them all in the Salvation Army, in the foyer, in the Salvation Army. So I sat them all by the window, just as the entrance as you go in. Because I deliberately wanted that light coming in.
Perfect.
And I was always told, I don't know whether you agree, when you're taking these portraits, you should try for a triangle under the dark side, under the eye. So I didn't quite have it. So I actually manipulated that a bit just to bring that out more than it was. But that's what I was aiming for.
Are you saying here?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've accentuated that triangle just to bring out that point.
What software did you use for that, Mo?
PhotoFox in iPad. PhotoFox. It's brilliant software. It's a monthly subscription, but it's very, very good.
Oh, really? How much does that cost you then, Mo?
Can't remember.
Oh, good. Okay.
If that's taken naturally, what creates the triangle, Mo?
Well, it's just the light, isn't it? If you turn the head, the light naturally falls. I was always taught to try and get a triangle under that eye in the shadow. So if you have the one side lightly lit, brightly lit, and then you try to get the triangle of
a triangle of shadow, you mean?
No, a triangle of light. Where David's cursor is there.
Oh, I see.
That's the triangle.
That's like the top of the cheek, then, is it? The
yes,
puffy part of the cheek.
Exactly that.
Okay, thanks.
The other triangle that you might attempt, you won't see it on this gentleman, is from the nose down to the lip. From the nose down to the top lip. You can't see it in this case, and what would have improved it would be a newspaper or a reflector, just to bring a little bit of light into here, just to give us a little bit more detail.
I didn't have that luxury, unfortunately. They were coming in. There was 100 people queuing up to have their photos taken. So I said, next. And sadly, as I say, this man died about 3 weeks ago. Every time somebody dies in the choir, they get back to, I've left the choir now, they come back to me and they say, have you got a picture of Fred who died last week? And they put it up on their website. So that's what made me bring this photo up again.
Well, speaking of that, you will remember members that were, well, the long-standing members will remember Jeff.
Yes.
Yeah.
How can we forget Jeff? What a character! What a character! And I did photograph him before he died.
Did you?
Yeah, he was a very good and willing subject, and yeah, terrifically photogenic face.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a very enthusiastic member. So R.I.P. Jeff, we haven't forgotten you. How could we possibly forget the goat and the wheelchair?
Who could forget that?
And
Who could
Diana,
forget that?
you know, that's the word. So
I will never forget that moment.
I know you've got the scars to prove it. Yeah, okay.
Thanks, Mo.
Those were the days when we used to have fun and go out together when we were alive. Anyway, moving on from Mo's to Suzanne's. Very, very oblique, low lighting, fantastically well shown, simplistic photo. I've got all the ideas I need about scale here because I know how big a boy's feet are and his jeans and the skateboard and the lighting low from the left. I rather suspect that he was stationary. Was he stationary, Suzanne?
No, he was on the move. He was definitely moving.
Yeah, and so what shutter speed did you use?
I think it was a fairly fast one. I was sort of crouched down on a low wall, and I could see him coming, and I had a fairly fast shutter speed. Can I just say, it was the same picture that I put in last time. Do you remember? I called it On the Move, and you liked it, but you suggested that it might look quite good in black and white. So I went back and I changed it to black and white. And then I flipped it so that the angle of the shadow was oblique. So that's what I did to sort of change the photo. And it does look good in black and white. I agree.
Yeah, it's always.
I'm not sure which one I prefer, but I do think it does look good in black and white.
No, I like it very much indeed. And the reason for putting an image into black and white. And incidentally, portraits work well in black and white. If I went back to Mo's elderly gentleman, he would be fantastic in monochrom. Really, really good. And the reason for choosing black and white often is that you take away all the confusion of color. So you're not disturbed by the fact that this boy's got red and white shoes on and blue jeans, and that's green grass or green hedge, and there's a bit of roadway there and some writing here. Be careful of writing because people will want to read it if it's legible, and that will be in yellow or white against the grey, and all of that mixture of colour takes away what this image is about. It's about that forward slash, it's that oblique slash, very low lighting, very, very well done indeed. I like that. So I'm just going to, in my notes, say skater, and we move on because it's 10 to 12, and we'll go to the next one, which Suzanne has looked through the window at the rain on the window and the sky, lovely sky. Look at that sky, and she's allowed the light striking the rain on the window to somehow what's the word? Somehow change the view of the trees. Now, I don't know where the window is, whether it's Suzanne's back garden or whether it's somewhere warm and rather pleasant.
No, it was the windscreen of the car.
Windscreen of the car.
We were going for a walk, and then the heavens opened, and we just got out the car. We had to run back into the car, and then it poured down. And I just like the indistinct, because another word for oblique is indistinct. So it's meant to be a sort of an indistinct view, which
and what I particularly like, apart from, I like these oblique slashes of the rain here on the windscreen of the car, but I particularly like that sky. What a wonderful sky. Without that sky, just imagine with me for a minute, ladies and gentlemen, if that had been a plain blue sky, it wouldn't have been so interesting an image. The size of the trees, well, I know how big these bushes are. I think they're probably about 6-7 feet high. I can see a little bit of something blue, might even have been the coast. Don't know, don't care.
Yeah, it was top of Lee Cliffs there, you know,
Right.
built way further
seeing,
down, going towards the old town, that slope. You know.
Yeah. I think that's very well lit from the side. By the lighting on the cloud, I can tell that the sun is up here on the left-hand side, and I like that a lot. And once again, I think if you've got two more, you could get a triptych out of those, printed on textured paper. They haven't said don't print it on gloss paper. Print it on a matte, or better still, a textured, lightly textured paper, and that would make 3 wonderful images if you've got 3. But they need to be similar but different. Scale wise, well, I'm not struggling with the scale, but I think it's a lovely photo, and you'd call it oblique view. I'm just calling it in my notes rainy view. Yeah, I'll move on, and well done on that one, Suzanne. Suzanne's number 3. Now I think I've got to do something like this to get it all on.
Yeah.
So she's got out of the car. She's walked up to the cliffs. I rather suspect that is Benfleet Creek with the.
No. Taken from a similar. It was taken on the same day as the previous one, in between the showers. That's again just before you get to the bit of the old town. There's a tree growing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
just past Lee Station.
So
that's the mulberry tree.
Is it a mulberry tree?
The mulberry tree.
Oh, right. Well, I don't know if you know, mulberry trees are the sign of the Huguenots. If you know what a Huguenot is.
I do, but I didn't realise that.
Yeah, well, I'm a Huguenot, and my old grandma, who's probably been dead for 60 years, so you can tell how old she is, or would have been. She'd have been, what, 150 by now, I guess, if not more. She had a mulberry tree in her front garden, and yes, I remember being told not to pick the mulberries because they'd stain my fingers and stain my clothes. And well, I won't go into that, but look at the wonderful way that Suzanne has rendered this in black and white. And once again, I think that Suzanne will say, well, she's got it as a colored image, and she listened to what we were saying previously, and she's given it a try in black and white, and she's discovered that it really makes a powerful image. Whether it is obliquely lit or not, I think is debatable. I think
it wasn't. Sorry, David, but the oblique lit went over my head because I didn't do the sort of the lighting. No, I did it for the angle because it was throwing at such a funny angle, but I didn't do it for the lighting.
No, and I think you've got that oblique slash, that forward slash in the angle of the tree. Very, very well done. So well done on that. And where is this again? It's above Lee, is it?
Yes, it's on that bit before you get to before you turn off for the old town. You know where the bridge is that goes down to the old town. It's that bit along there.
Really? And Mags tells us that that's a mulberry tree.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah. No. I don't know if any of you are Huguenots. Anyone claim to be a Huguenot?
No.
No?
My mum tried to be.
What? You try to be. You either are or you're not.
It was something to do up in London about education.
Well, there is now the Huguenot Society in London.
The Huguenot Society, and she applied to her mother applied to the Huguenot Society to get her into it or something, but they refused.
What was her maiden name?
Moore.
What?
Moore.
Moore?
M-O-O-R-E. Moore.
Oh, telephone, Suzanne. Yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, what Suzanne has achieved is a diagonal slash here, which I rather like. What I don't like is this boring sky, which I suspect on the original is plain blue. I can see no texture in that whatsoever. However, on my two screens, I'm viewing it on two screens, on my laptop, this is a very cold black. But on my desktop, it's a very warm black. So I don't know what black you are seeing. I would call this Bromesco black, a warmer black. Whereas on my laptop, it's a very, very dark, cold black.
Is it in HDR?
Suzanne, is
I
it?
can't remember which. I obviously went into sort of Pixar and picked one. I can't remember if I picked the HDR. I don't think I picked the HDR, but it might have been.
Yeah, what's happened here is that although this is green, you can see that the green's coming through almost as a highlight. It's not white, but it's getting on for being white. In the sunlight there, the green sward there is coming through as practically white. And in addition, on the leaves that are being lit directly from the sun above, they are coming through as highlights. They are also white. So I would suggest that this is the effect that you get when you put a green filter onto the image, and it allows the greens to look, and of course you monochrome it as well, the greens to be the highlight. The sort of effect that you get with infrared. It's a pseudo infrared. As such, I think the obliqueness is that angle there, and I think that Suzanne's quite right. My only concern is about that boring sky, but there again, we do it for ourselves, so well done. So Suzanne, I'm just going to write tree for that one, thank you, and I'll move on to Terry's, an oblique. What am I going to call that? It's not a tree, is it? Leaf. Sprout. It's giving us the oblique look. Wonderful background. Terrific background. Now, I don't know if everyone's still with us because we're going on a little bit here. But Brian, are you still with us?
I am.
So you'll notice that the leaf is pin sharp, but the background is soft. Expertly done. Give me an aperture, an F number, Brian.
2.8.
2.8. Fine. Low number, big hole. Expert.
But while I have the opportunity, I would just like to comment that on Monday I watched 80 images put into a competition in Benfleet Camera Club.
Yeah, with the world's worst judge.
The quality of the images that I've seen today have been equal, if not superior, to the ones I've done there. And it's a great imaginative selection that we have today. So
absolutely, yeah. Here to that. The submissions this month, well, every month really, and I struggled to find something that's going to be a challenge to you. And I thought when I gave you this, crumbs, it's going to be too difficult. But look at these images you've submitted. So well done, all of you. That's absolutely fantastic selection of images. And this one, Terry, is beautifully taken. And once again, a very, very discreet stroke line, which helps a great deal to help the image stand up from the black background. Beautifully taken, wide open aperture. And personally, I tend to take all my photos at a wide open aperture unless I deliberately choose otherwise. Whether that's f2.8 or f2 or f1.8 just depends on the lens that I've got on. I think there's a lot to learn from this photo. All of the texture is shown in this leaf. He's given us an oblique slash here on its own, terrific, standing out from the background. Very, very well done, Terry. Super image. And once again, I think if you did 3 like that, you'd have a wonderful triptych. So in my notes, I'm just going to say leaf there and move on. Shaft of light. And so what Terry is trying to show us here are these paving stones. Could be in the street somewhere, could be in his back garden. Very low lighting, giving us some 3-dimensionality. There isn't as much 3-dimensionality as I would have liked, but nonetheless, perhaps the sun went down behind the fence and we've lost some of the edges of these paving stones, but it is the edges and the shadows on the edges that give us this oblique lighting, this oblique shaft of light that gives us three-dimensionality. I wonder, Terry, whether you've considered it in monochrome.
No, I didn't, but yeah, perhaps I'll go back and try it.
Yeah, I think it's worth having a go on that one, because as it is, there's no special point of interest. It might be a pattern picture, but I'm looking for a point of interest, somewhere I'm taken to direct my attention. So I'm just going to call, what do you call it? Shaft of light. I'm just going to call it paving stones. And I'll go back through all of them in a moment. Next one. And, you know, in this case, you found this lady photographer with her camera set well down low. And she's taking photos of whatever's happening. And the light is coming in very low on the lady's face. We have a few telltale shadows coming in on the bottom right hand side here. If I can enlarge that a little, then you'll see how well lit this is. Unfortunately, it's a little bit, we say, burned out on her face, on the lady's face here. It's very, very much burned out, and it would be worth, Terry, taking this back into photo manipulation jiggery pokery software and taking it down a stop, and then warming up her face, bringing out the face. I'm a little distracted by the brightness of this, what I'm going to say is pampas grass in the background, and again a vignette there would have helped. Quite a decent vignette there. I don't think we need all of this in the front, and I'd have taken the inch off of the image here, but you very wisely kept her foot in. Once again, I'm a little distracted by colors, this blob of reddish purple and this blue here, and again a vignette there would have taken that down. In your software, you probably are able to choose where to put a vignette. Some people have software that just puts fuzzy edges on all the way around, and that's really not what we want here. I would suggest quite a strong vignette here, and maybe a less strong one. The brightest part is the lady's face, quite clearly, and it is obliquely lit. Now, what's good about this is look at the arm, the lighting on the arm from the lit side to the shadow side is giving us a roundness. Yeah, a roundness. I don't need any suggestion of scale because I know how big shoes are. I know how big a camera is. I just want a little bit more photoshopping on that. The other thing you might consider, Terry, apart from all of what I've said so far, that's vignetting and cropping, is color popping. Have you tried color popping it?
Not this one. I've done an odd one or two.
Yeah. I might suggest you color pop it and just see if you like it, but you do what you like. It doesn't matter what the judge says. What matters is what you like. Give it a try and see. If you like it, keep it. If you don't like it, delete it. You know, I think I delete more images than I keep, and I've recently deleted about 50,000 images, literally 50,000 images, just to make some space on the memory disk in my computer. But well done on that one, and so I'm just going to write down lady for that one. Thank you very much.
Why is she taking a photo of her foot? That's the only question I would have.
She's not.
Oh, sorry. I thought she was taking a photo of her shoe.
This is that trip we did where we did street photography.
Yes, I know when you. Yes, I remember it. I remember.
I think it's outside Southend College, isn't it?
Yes,
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, we all know who the lady is, don't we? Is the lady still tuned in?
Yes, she is.
So what bit is he going to pop? I mean,
well, basically, my suggestion would be in layers, Terry. If you know how to do layers, you copy it. So Control J will copy the image. You've got a coloured image here. and a colored image here. You then go into image adjustments and you take the desaturate the top one, so you make it black and white. And then with a mask, you put a mask on that top one there, and you rub out the black and white to allow the viewer to see the colored image underneath. It's layers. Yeah.
I just wondered what part of it was going to be coloured. You know, would you say the camera or the head? Or
No. I would keep the whole of the image of the lady in colour, but everything else in black and white.
Oh, I see that bit.
Yeah, that would be my aim. But vignette it before you do anything else. Top right and top left corners to be vignetted. Yeah. But you'll see that it's very, very overexposed on the face. So that all needs taking down before doing anything else. Yeah. But there we go. So if I go back to the home, thanks, Terry. You okay with that, Terry?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I go back to our home page and we look at these, and we have to pick a winner out of this lot. Let's see if I can do this. We've got those three from Bill, the Bang of the Moon and the two books in various versions. So I'm going to give a few notes to that one. And we've got these from Brenda, which I'm sorry she's not with us to hear this today, but I don't know if Mo, does your record button work this week?
I think it may well do, but it's rather long. It's over 2 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, we're over 2 hours. Is that too long?
Well, I'll see. I'll see what's there.
Okay. Well, again, 3 cracking good images. That's a real challenge, that one. That one's not sharp. I do like that one. So I'm going to give a mark to that. There's 3. Then we go on to Brian's engraved glass, and this mystery vase, and this is the real vase itself. So well done on those, Brian. And Diana's Light in the Woods, that wonderful picture of the blinds and the squashes. I think that's 3 terrific pictures. Just going to change my, okay. And then Fred's, well, that's a cracking good picture. That's very interesting, and that certainly addresses everything that we've spoken of. So thank you. Iris, the ripples on the water, the sky, and Monty the dog. Thank you for those. Caroline's trees with the / the slash keys. What a great picture. And then the obliquely positioned smoothing plane. So well done on those. And I will be choosing some to put in the magazine if it's all okay with you. If you don't want your pictures published, then do tell me later. Mags, oh, I'm at sea with this one. What a wonderful image. That one, yeah, terrific. Thank you for that. I love that textured sky. Not so happy with the sky on this one, but it certainly gives us these oblique lines now that you've pointed those out to us. So well done with those, thank you. Mo's photo manipulation, jiggery pokery, very good, obliquely lit. The stringed instrument here, which he keeps telling me what it is, and this terrific image of this deceased gentleman. Well, he wasn't deceased at the time. This gentleman. 3 good images. Certainly, Mo's images are always worth a challenge. He always tries to put something interesting in. So well done, Mo. And Suzanne Skater, the raindrops through the window, and the mulberry tree. Once again, 3 good images there. And then Terry's leaf, the paving stones, and the lady with the camera. So once again, well, according to me then, and there's no special reason that anyone should agree, the winning photos see if I can enlarge it. are those? Out of the selection of threes, Brenda's bullseye, I know he's a mystery boy, he's a bit out of focus, and that leading nowhere. I think that's the winning set. So well done, Brenda. You have won the virtual box of chocolates yet again. Wish you better with your chest. And I won't necessarily publish all three of Brenda's, but between us, I hope you agree with me, ladies and gentlemen, the person with the 3 winning images is Brenda with her 3. So well done, Brenda. Well done, everyone else. I will, if you're happy for me to do so, select 3 to send through, not necessarily all of Brenda's 3, but certainly one of those I'll publish in the magazine if you're happy to do so. And I particularly like this one from Diana, and I particularly like that one from Fred, and I am really pleased with that one from Caroline, and with this one from Mags. Absolutely super. So well done, everyone. Oh, and Terry's leaf, really good, and Suzanne's Skater Boy. Well done, everyone, and thank you all for tuning in and putting up with me for 2 hours. I expect we're all looking forward to a coffee and a natural break just at present. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and I'll say goodbye to the next.
Whoa! What's the project?
Next time's challenge. Now, come on, I have told it to you. What do you think it is, Suzanne? What's the next time? What?
Shut up.
Pattern.
Pattern. Could be, but it's not.
It's clouds.
Clouds? No.
Scale.
No, you've won the chocolate orange. It's scale. Scale is the next one, right? So somehow you've got to interpret scale and incorporate it into a photo. Now, you know when I've mentioned it in today's photos, so you have to try to think around that. Of course, you might think of something else, and I already know what Mo's got going through his mind. Just look at me, Mo. Look straight at the camera.
Kitchen scales.
Let me see. Look straight at me.
Kitchen scales.
Well, what if you just photograph something that you know the size of?
It's up to you, Bill. Whatever you say it is, then we'll go.
Like if you photograph a book, you know it's a book. I mean, you know the sizes of books.
Not necessarily. Books can be all sizes.
Well, yes, I know, but they're within a reasonable range of sizes, aren't they? You know very well.
Anyway, we accept the challenge, David. We accept the challenge.
Thank you, Mo.
Thank you.
So well done, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. And I think there's just one person missing, isn't there, from today, and that's Brenda. Unless I missed somebody else. Have I missed? Roger doesn't seem to tune in, does he? But well done, everyone. And are you all happy with my leaving it to me to select images to send on through to the magazine? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
No dissenters? Great. Well, good to see you all. And remember, Christmas is coming, so a polarizing filter. You can get them for a couple of quid. You don't spend mega bucks on it. Don't get the cheapest one. You can get Amazon Basics, but you'll find they don't last. Get the next one up from the Amazon Basics. I recommend various names, but I think it's Kood, K-O-O-D, or Hoya, H-O-Y-A, are good makes. You don't want one that you pay 50 bob for, and within the year it's peeling, its coating is coming off. Or a pair of sunglasses, but remember you've got to be able to rotate the sunglasses. So there we are, everyone. Well done with your submissions. Look forward to seeing you in December, the 3rd Wednesday in December, and well done on your submissions. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
Bye.
Bye.
Suzanne, can you just hold on a sec?
Okay. Okay.
I just wanted to know, did you get my email this morning?
I haven't checked my emails this morning, so
I've just had a note from Jim saying he hasn't got my email. I wondered if you got it.
hang on, let me have a look.
It's for the Banjo Club.
Right. Let's have a look. I'll look on the other iPad. Hang on.
Hi, Brian.
Yeah.
You
I've
got it?
Yeah, the one that says ukulele notice.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that one. I'm just looking to see which Jim hadn't got it. Jim Trevelyan or the other Jim?
McCann. Jim McCann. He's just sent me an email while we've been on. He's saying he wondered if it had been cancelled.
Is he James Casita? Is he the one that comes?
Yes.
Yeah, he's on your list.
Yes, I know he is, but he says he hasn't got it, so he assumed it had been cancelled. So I'll reply on the.
It came through yesterday, according to mine. You sent it yesterday.
Yeah, last evening. Right, well, I told you the problem I had getting that one piece. Oh boy! So Frank sent it to me.
Yeah.
Frank sent it to me, and I've included it in the PDF.
Right. Yeah. No, okay. Yeah. No, I've got it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So if you've got it, that means it's gone out. It just hasn't got to Jim for some reason.
No, that's strange.
Yeah.
Unless he's missed it.
Yeah, maybe. But it was late because of the reason I've said. Okay. All right. I've waxed lyrical. I waxed lyrical on there. Did you see that?
Could you stay on for a minute, Mo?
Yeah, sure.
When these pictures are being transmitted,
yeah,
if I view them as original size,
yes,
very often they're sort of pixelated and grainy.
Right. I know.
If I then go to 100%,
yes,
they look fine.
Yeah, well, the reason is
then they're too big.
Yeah, the reason is, Bill, when you're looking at the original one, they're just thumbnail. They're just thumbnail. There's supposed to be just a representation of the image. Then you're supposed to click on it to bring it up to full size, and that's when you should see the perfect image. Does that answer your question?
No, not really, because I don't know. To click on it means every time somebody transmits a new picture.
Yeah.
David keeps playing around with the sizes today, so I'll keep going from.
No, rewind, Bill. When you click the thing on the website, you get all of the images in thumbnail size. Yeah. Say yes.
No, I don't know what you mean. When you go to the website
and you click on the box that said oblique, you click on that, and it comes up with all of the images, doesn't it?
Bill, do you mean when you're using Zoom?
Are you talking about on your looking at your site, or are you talking about when they're being transmitted now?
Okay, there's what I call my site, okay, which is the photographer site, and then they go to another site called J-Album, okay? That's a completely different site.
Yeah.
So you click on the box on my website, and it takes you off into J-Album, and that is what you see. That's what David is showing. And that's what I was assuming everybody else was looking at as well. I assumed you're looking at those as well. So when you click on that, you're seeing thumbnails. You're seeing thumbnails of all the images that have been sent in. And if you click on any of them, they come up to full screen size.
Bill,
I don't see when I get a chance to click on them though.
Bill, are you having a problem with seeing them on Zoom, or are you having a problem seeing them
on Zoom? That's
on
what
Zoom.
On Zoom.
Oh, now I have a problem now.
Oh, I see.
That's what I'm saying. Every time David changes it to a big picture, yeah, I can go back to fit on screen. But very often he doesn't, even when I fit it on screen, it still looks grainy and horrible. But then if I go to the top and say view it at 100%,
yes,
I get a good picture, but then it's probably too big for the screen. There is an option of 50%, but then that's probably too small. You know, it's very difficult.
Well, okay, I see the problem. I see the problem. The problem isn't with David because Suzanne, you don't have a problem, do you?
No.
And no do I. So I think, Bill, the problem is on your computer, it's to do with the zoom setting, not zoom that we're talking on now. I'm talking about the zoom making bigger and smaller.
Yeah.
And if you've got it set to too big, that will make it pixelated. Whatever David shows will show
the other way about. When I make it big on my screen,
yes,
it's nice and clear.
Is it?
But it's possibly too big.
Yes.
When I have it as fit to screen or fit to window,
yeah,
it's quite pixelated and it looks horrible.
Can't explain that, Bill.
It's really weird.
I can't explain that.
I've tried all sorts of settings and I just can't find a setting that, and then when I get sort of a picture that's right size, David changes it.
Yes,
it magnifies it,
transmits
it, and I've got to push it all back down again. All the time I'm fiddling with buttons trying to get the picture in the right size.
It's all to do.
Get an iPad, Bill. Get an iPad.
Get an iPad. Bill, it's all to do with screen resolution. It's all to do with your screen resolution setting.
Everybody.
That's annoying. That must be annoying for you.
When I've had Zoom meetings with the other, the Hadley Camera Club.
Yeah.
And there's some guy transmitting his pictures.
Yeah.
Then generally they stay all the same size, and I just fit it to the window, and they all look all right. I can't understand what's happening really.
No, I can't explain it either, Bill. Sorry, I have no idea.
Right. I thought perhaps you might know.
No, except it's to do with your screen resolution on your computer.
Yeah. All right. Well,
but as nobody else has got the problem, it has to be with your setting.
I mean, there's quite a few people watching it on their TVs, aren't they?
No, don't think so.
Well, they all seem to be relaxed in armchairs, and they're not sort of.
Well, I'm relaxing in my. That's why I've got my arm on the arm of the armchair. That's why I sit like this.
I know, but a lot of them seem much further back.
Well, I've got an iPad. I'm sitting further back, but I've got an iPad propped up on a coffee table.
That's what I've got. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Okay.
Get an iPad, Bill.
I have to, with my camera, I have to be, if I go back here, I can't reach the board. I can't reach the keyboard. So
another thing, Bill, when you lean in and you speak, it gets very muffled, the speech.
Does it?
So when you're speaking, you need to pull back a bit.
Well, it should be coming through this microphone.
Oh, I see. It's coming from the microphone. So when you lean forward, it moves the microphone, I think. Possibly.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. Anyway, all very educational.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Cheerio.
Time for some lunch. Time for some lunch.
Bye-bye.
Cheers then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.